Good afternoon, Mets fans. Today is Wednesday, the 29th of March, and welcome to another episode of Driving with Mr. Met. I am Mr. Met, and today I'm going to talk about the final piece of the puzzle, which I don't think is much of a puzzle anymore, and it's the starting lineup for the 2017 New York Mets. Of all of the question marks that arose during spring training and during the offseason, I think the one that has most clearly presented itself with an obvious answer is what the starting lineup is going to look like as far as the 1 through 8 in the order. And I talked about the bench, I talked about the infield, I talked about the outfield, but how will they be configured in the batting lineup? It's beginning of spring training. I had talked about Curtis Granderson being the leadoff guy. I've talked about David Wright and where he was going to bat. But some of these questions have worked themselves out based on injury and performance and just the look at a lineup that we saw for the first time last week. And the lineup is now pretty clear. I think the everyday lineup is going to be Reyes at the top of the lineup batting first, Asdrubal Cabrera batting second, Yoenis Cespedes batting third, Curtis Granderson batting fourth, Neil Walker batting fifth, Lucas Duda or Jay Bruce batting sixth. They're basically the same person, so one will bat sixth and one will bat seventh. And Travis d'Arnaud / Rene Rivera will bat eighth. It's a really good lineup, and it's funny, up until last week, I never thought of Granderson as the cleanup hitter. But look, he's coming off of a 30 home run season. They've got a few 30 home run threats in the lineup. But Granderson does make a lot of sense as a cleanup hitter because he has been a run producer. Hitting 30 home runs out of the leadoff spot is tricky, but it's also incredibly unproductive. There's no chance, or not as many chances rather, to drive in a lot of runs because out of the leadoff spot, you've generally got weaker hitters batting in front of you in the 8 and 9 holes. But if Granderson bats cleanup and is able to hit the way he has last year and the year before that, he may end up with 100 RBIs. It's not out of the realm of possibilities. So that's all I wanted to really talk about today, what the lineup is going to look like. Two other pieces of newsworthy information. One being Jeurys Familia's suspension, officially announced today at 15 games. That's fewer than 30, which was the speculation after his meeting with Rob Manfred earlier in the week. So 15 games will be without Familia. It could be worse. I'm curious about the language involved in all of this. There was a tweet that I read earlier from Jason Stark about the commissioner's office finding, quote, no evidence of domestic violence or physical abuse or whatever the exact language was. But the quote was no evidence of. And yet he was being suspended 15 games for inappropriate behavior. And I'm like, oh, that doesn't make sense. But whatever, 15 games is fine. That means that there will be an extra person that we weren't counting on being in the bullpen and also on the roster for at least the first 15 games of the season. The other piece of information is that the Mets tied the Braves again. Another tie, spring training tie. So that's back-to-back ties. Yesterday with the Cardinals and today with the Braves. But the option of a tie game goes out the window in just a few short days because on Monday we have opening day. And I'm excited. I cannot wait for the Mets to get on the field and perform, hopefully in 2017, the way that Yoenis Cespedes is expecting them to perform. Cespedes predicts the Mets are going to be in the World Series. Who am I to argue with a guy who's going to hit 40 home runs this year? Tomorrow I'm going to make a couple of predictions that are sort of predictions and sort of questions, but like rhetorical questions. I'm going to talk about where I think the Mets will wind up as far as their record is concerned, and I'm going to ask a few questions about a few key pieces in 2017. So until then, thanks for watching this video. Look forward to talking with you later in the week. And as always, let's go Mets.